different, that something is fine, because Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalize both are same products, and CD Decisioning is part of Sitecore Personalize. That's why I decided to change it on the fly. But technically, the content is same and funda is same. Vinod has done a good job doing the introduction, so I'll not spend time on this. But this is my overall experience. And just to give you overview about the CDP and Personalize series, which I have been doing for 3 sessions now. I've done a couple of sessions, Sitecore CDP Basics, where I talk about the Sitecore CDP and some confusion about Sitecore CDP or Sitecore Personalize or Smart Hub CDP. So that has been done on the first session. So if you miss the session due to your work or personal priorities, you can go through the recording, and the link is provided here. Or you can go to Sitecore Sugin YouTube channel, you can find out from there. The second session I did with the Sitecore User Group Bangalore, Sitecore Personalized Basics, where I discussed about why personalization is important and how Sitecore personalization solves the business needs. In case you missed that session, the recording is available on this on their YouTube channel, and you can go through that. And today's session is about Sitecore Personalized Decisioning Basics with the Sitecore User Group in Pune. As I mentioned, these 2 sessions, I have covered a lot of basic fundamentals of Sitecore CDP Personalize, the confusion which industry has, the community has. So I'll not go through that to save the time, but in case you would like to go through that or few things doesn't make sense to you, I would strongly encourage you to go through those sessions so you can connect the dots. So let's dig into today's topic, decisioning. But before we talk about the decisioning, this diagram is very important, which I always discuss or present when I am talking about Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalize. So Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalize, both products can be purchased together, or you can only purchase Sitecore CDP, or you can only purchase Sitecore Personalize. The left side of this diagram is basically streaming the data into CDP. So this is all coming data from your website or your backend systems or some data warehouse is basically ingesting the data. And once you have the data, you would like to create the experiences. But as a marketer, the challenge they were facing is it needs technical knowledge, and it always needs some kind of an technical involvement, or it gets overwhelmed at some point of time where marketers decide not to do any personalization and just the basic website. That's where the decisioning helps. Decisioning is nothing but a kind of mechanism to have your business rules documented or provided in a visual UI. So you as a marketer can get the personalization done and provide the next best offer to the user without being your tech team involved. As a developer, you'll be involved to configure this one time only. After that, you don't need to spend time. Marketers can be trained and they can add the new business rules as the business change, because in this post-pandemic world, things are changing every day. Earlier, there was no kind of a drive up or pick up order, but now everyone is expecting a drive up or pick up order and a lot of other things. But now Amazon is doing a 1-day delivery, and now the groceries are doing like 15 minutes delivery. To do all those things, you need a platform which can be easily customized, and decisioning can give you that power where you as a marketer can provide that experience, and then you as a developer can create those experiences easily, so it is easy to maintain and manage, and then marketers can easily do it. Let's understand this diagram. So basically, this is a decisioning engine, which we will see in a demo. But this decisioning engine can provide some business rules and can be configured here by marketers, and you as a developer can configure it once. And then it can also connect to the microservices your company has. For example, let's say if you are building a website for ICICI Bank home loan, and if someone applies for the home loan, you would like to make a call to CIBIL score. What is the CIBIL score? And again, in US, they call it credit score, but in India, they call it CIBIL score. So you call the CIBIL score API, and then based on the CIBIL score API, CIBIL score, you can provide the best mortgage rate to the user. So you can call a CIBIL score API, and then that can become as one of the input in the decisioning engine, and then you can provide the best offer to the user. And obviously that will also help business make the decisions rather than kind of someone doing the manual work and then providing the next best offer or mortgage rate in this example. Or if your company has invested a lot in AI and the machine models, you can also connect to that. And then if you have invested in Content Hub, you can also connect to Content Hub to leverage some of the images and the media and content. That's the power of decisioning. And the benefit of decisioning is it can be connected to your experiences or experiments. And what if you don't know about those, I would recommend to review the last session because we talked about experiences or experiments. But the high level definition of experience or experiment is basically doing the A/B testing or providing the personalized experience. Inside core personalized product, you use experiences or experiments, and that can be connected to a decisioning model, and that can provide you some data, which you can use to provide the next best offer to the user. And this can connect to any activation channels, whether it's a website or mobile application push or call center, you name it, and you can connect it because it basically works on the API first mechanism. So now let's talk about the key concepts of this decisioning model. So this is how, so on the right side, you can see this screenshot, the GIF, which shows how the decisioning will work. It's very easy as a developer. Let's say if you are working on this visual, you can drag and drop the visual blocks, and each block means something. Like they have the input data. Basically, when you drag and drop this box, it means that you need the guest data and session data. And then if you need to make some decision, you can drag and drop the programmable. Basically, programmable is nothing but a piece of code you can write leveraging this data and making some decisions. And then decision tables are kind of a very powerful way where you can write your business rules, and that can leverage and provide the next best offer. And we'll see a demo so you'll understand more. And you can also download the image to share with someone, or you can also download the XML in case you need to share this with someone else. So decision management that scales across the channel. This is a very important point. So once you create this decision model, that can be leveraged across any channels. So for example, if you create one decision model to do something for the web channel, that can be leveraged by your kiosk or mobile application or any channel you have, because it gets integrated using the API, and obviously any platform can trigger the API and get. So your business rules are at the central place, and that can be used across the channels. The benefit of it is if you change at one place, it will reflect at all the activation channels you have. It has been built on DMN decision model notation standards. I'm not sure if you know, but DMN standards have been defined by Object Management Group to provide some building blocks using which the technical and non-technical users can communicate using the same language. So this whole decision modeling has been using the DMN standards. So all these blocks which you have been seeing, those are based on the DMN standards. Decision models runs on Lambda architecture. So these all decision models, when you execute it, it runs behind the scenes on Lambda architecture, basically serverless architecture. So you're also kind of very fast and performance, and it can scale very well. The benefits of decision models and decisioning is you can manage the complex decisions using the business rules to return the next best action or offer. It provides better customer experience by ensuring accurate, precise, visible, and managing decisions, as we discussed earlier. And you can use analytical models and data systems for maximum impact through connections. As I mentioned, you can connect to your either API, in-house API, or any AI model you have. And then you can even taste that variants without going live behind the scenes. They call it silent taste. So you don't need to make your decision model live. You can just keep it running in the silent mode, and you can analyze the data. And then if you are happy with the data, then you can make it live. They call it silent test. And then access full revision history and easily revert decision model variants. So that's another benefit, because business rules change. And if someone kind of make a mistake, it's hard to track it. If it is in the code, then you have to revert a code and stuff like that. But here you can look at the version history and then you can revert to the older version. The second important concept is decision model variants. So basically, you create a decision model. Think of it as a superset, and then you have the variants. Think of this subset of it or sub items of it. Uh, this is how it looks. So basically, let's say you as a company define your variant D, but business change that, hey, as a business now we're providing 50% offer, but now we need to provide 20% offer. So now you start the variant E with a 20% offer, and then you just kind of taste it for some time. And if you see that people are getting engaged or getting converted, you can move the variant D to archive, and then variant E will come here, and then that will become live on the website. Zero downtime, and you can make the business decisions without impacting the website. And I'll show you a demo, so don't worry if you don't understand this right now. But there are some variant states: draft, taste, production, and archive. So draft is basically when you are working on some business rules or decisioning, you keep it here. When you are ready to kind of taste it, uh, as I mentioned, silent taste it without impacting or showing anything to user, you can do the taste. And then once you are ready to move that to a production, you can move it. It's all drag and drop. So you can drag and drop to here and move it to production. Now this is live. And then once business changes, you can add a new variant. Uh, we can also base out of particular version. And then you can move this particular version to archive. And once you move to archive, you cannot move it back. So there are some rules, but you can read more about those here. There are some best practices which to be followed because there are business decisions, and then it can get complicated and overwhelming at some point of time. So the best thing you need to do when you have to design a decision model and how it will work in the real world is there will be a business scenario. You need to solve that. So business will come to you as a developer to define this overall process. Uh, so you have to design this particular thing, but don't, because this canvas is very tempting and you just want to kind of play with it as soon as you have a requirement. Don't do that. Uh, this is the process how this decision model should be defined. So first is do a discovery process. Basically, try to understand from the business of what they want, what exactly is required, why we are doing this. Then you create a decision model. Then you create a variant. Then you test it for some time because whatever logic you have written, you can test using the test canvas tool here. I'll show you that as well. But you should test the model with the live data so you can see like how the live data is interacting with your decision model. And then you can move it to a test state, and then you can configure an experiment to use the model, and then you can move it to production, and then you are live. So that's the overall life cycle of decision model. The other important thing is bottom-up approach. Uh, Basically, when you design this canvas, if you have a lot of business things coming up here, it can get complicated. So make sure that you use the bottom-up approach. Basically, whatever inputs are there, add it here, and then keep adding. And then whatever the final decision is, it should be in the top. So in this example, when I come on this particular uh, decision model, I can see that this particular block is making a final decision, and there is no any outside entry for this because all the other are just connecting to this, and this guy is making the final decision. So make sure that you have only one decision in the top. Else, if you just don't follow this kind of an managed approach, then things will get complicated. And if someone comes on this particular decision model, they will not be able to identify which particular model is making a decision. Second thing is when you save this particular change, make sure that you add a comment because that will help someone else identify what happened because this can get complicated with the business decisions. And then make sure that you follow the versioning standards because you can create variants, and if you don't follow the good naming standards like versioning standard, you can use 1.0, 2.0. If you have minor version 1.1, or you can use A, B, C, D, E, whatever the company decides, go with that. But make sure that you follow the proper versioning, else it will be hard for you to understand which version is live and then which version to base on. So there are some kind of basic things you should be aware before you create any decision model. and the favorite part of developers, demo. So I have two demos for you. If time permits, you can go to the second demo, but let's start with the first demo. So I have this website, which I'll open in the incognito mode. This is basically a simple website connected to a Sitecore CDP and Personalize engine. So what use case we are trying to do is we have a products page and we are selling Apple Watches. I should add Apple Watch Ultra as well at some point of time. But now when someone comes on this page and their propensity to purchase, there is a data extension we have added for each user. If their probability to purchase any item is high, so we are giving a rating from like 0.4, 0.5 to 1. If 1, that means that this person is going to buy a product. And if they have already purchased with us, there is a high probability that they will purchase. So for those kind of users, I'd like to provide a higher discount. But those who don't have purchased with us, I'd like to provide less discount. So I'd like to design that experience. Let's look at how that can be done using the decisioning engine. So first and foremost thing I need to create is decision models. So in the decision model, uh, again, not sure if you have seen the screen, but if you log into your Sitecore CDP Personalized sandbox, you can look at the decision models. You can create a decision model from here. I already created one. So let's go through that. So in this one, I have 1.1 version live and I've created 1.4. Let's create new version. When I create a new variant, as I was talking about this, when I create a new variant, I can select the base. I can have no base of it, or I can have 1.1 as my base or 1.4 because there are two variants live. But let's see if I can have, uh, let me use 1.1 as my base. I just see, let's start. Let's just see 1. Let's make it 1.3. So now 1.3 has been created. It's in draft state. So when I click on that, it will load me a canvas, and this canvas will have all the building blocks which I need to create my decision model. So now let's look at this guy on the left side. These are the input data. So basically, if you need a guest, order, or sessions data, you can drag this input. If you want to make some decisions, you can drag the decision table, programmable decision template. If you need some offers, some kind of a data, you can use knowledge source offers. And if you have to connect to external system like API or analytical model, you can connect to it. Like for example, this one. These are the connections basically, and then the connections can be added from here. Uh, this connection wizard where you provide your API endpoint and the credentials, the client ID, client secret. Once you provide that, then when you drag any data system, you can choose, like for example, I have one connection already established, uh, which basically connects to an API to get the product data. It must have been deleted, but that's something you can connect to any data system, which I'll not go through in this example because we don't need any data system. But in the example, I have drag and drop two things programmable. When you drag and drop programmable, you have uh, this kind of a server-side JavaScript, which you can use to write any logic, which I will show you in a while. So we have two programmables configured here. The one programmable is propensity to purchase. Another programmable is any orders, because our business rule says that I would like to see if user has higher propensity to purchase. That something will come from here, and if user has any orders. So let's look at this particular guy first. What we are doing is we are just fetching the data extension we have created. If you let me show you that as well, so you can connect the dot. So I have two users. Let's say one is Rahul Dravid. There are two Rahul Dravids. Let me get the right email address. So I have this particular user, and this user has registered with us and provided all the details. So now this is known as customer. Uh, and then if you look at the property, this is the propensity to purchase value, and the value is 0.4 for this user. I have another user, my user, and if you look at the properties, propensity to purchase for me is 1, and then I have also placed an order in the past with Apple Watch 7. I ordered in the past, so I ordered the Apple Watch 7 in the past, and the propensity to purchase is some kind of formula my company uses to define this probably uh, the propensity to purchase. And just to show like how I have included this value, I use the postman just to please like send the data to the backend system using this value, and I can change this value as well for individual guest using the guest ID here. It will not go in that detail in this particular example. So I have two users, one with 0.4 and another is uh, with one propensity. And that's what I am basically referring here in this example. The another programmable, I'm checking that whether there are any orders or not. So I can use guest.orders.length, return true or false. I'm doing that. The good thing is while you are tasting this, right? For example, let's say in this example, I would like to see whether I have order or not. What I can do is I can, if I'm interested in particular user, I know that, for example, in this example, I was checking this particular user. I can click on this and it will load all the data of this particular user here. So while I'm coding, I don't need to go at this UI and then look at all the details. All the details are here. And then let's say I'd like to see this particular user's data extensions. I can see from here. And then I need, for example, if I need this particular value, I can just do copy path as JavaScript, and then I can paste here as well. That's the one way. And then you'd like to see like guest.orders. You can also fetch the order data from, look at the order data from here, and then you can design your, because you can see that this particular user has ordered. So you know that this particular user is ordered. So you can decide and do a testing as well from here. So this is basically returning true or false based on the order array's length. I also need offers. Offers is nothing but some data, and so when you drag and drop offer, you can connect to the offer template. So let me show you that as well. So first and foremost thing, to create an offer, you need to go to offer templates. So I created one. So I created offer template. Offer template is nothing but just coming of some name, description, and some attributes. If you are a Sitecore developer, think of this kind of your template. You define your template with some required fields. When you add a field, you can also select, like for example, field 1. You can select which type of field it is. I don't need additional field. So once you define the offer template, that's the first step you need. Then you can configure the offers. You can go back to decision and configure the offers. So I have configured as per our need. 10 USD discount, 10, 50 USD discount, 30 USD discount. So let me show you the 10 USD discount. So just provided some details. The template is here, status is active, and then just providing a name of that, and then I'm using this placeholder basically just to show this particular image. Nothing fancy here, straightforward, simple offers. So 3 offers have been created, 10, 30, and 50 USD discount, and now that something is being consumed here. So we have these 3 boxes providing their data to this decision table. And now let's look at the decision tables. When you look at the decision table, there are a few interesting things here. You provide the decision table name, and then you also look at the annotation. So basically, these are the very helpful data and keep it updated. So this is kind of an simple English explanation of what we are trying to do, because at times things will get complicated here. And this is as per the DMN standards. And then hit policy, you can define like which way this rule should execute. Like whatever the first rule matches, it should return from there, or it should match any rule, or it should match unique rule. So kind of a switch or if, all those kind of things can be done here. But when you come here, you can provide the input column. Sorry. When you configure the input columns, and then you provide the output column. So in this example, the propensity to purchase is an input column, which is basically coming from my programmable, and you can see it here loaded automatically as any order. And then this is an offer, but I mentioned yet we have configured this particular offer template, so all the offers are coming from the template. And now we are providing a rule like if the propensity to purchase value is greater than 0.5 and they have order, provide them 50 USD discount. If it is less than 0.5, provide them 10 USD discount. If it is 0.5, provide 30 USD discount. And this kind of an English, simple English, explaining what we are trying to do. Let me show you one more rule, for example. You can say 1.5. Okay, this is not a true, but I just provide. And then if it is true or false, because when I define this, I have to provide which type of field it is. So I can provide true or false, and then I can select an offer. So as I mentioned, I provided a template, so I can select which offer, basically selecting a content here, and I can provide my comment here. So I delete this because I don't want this right now, but as a business user, I can come here and make the decision. When my business changes the decision, let's say instead of 50 USD discount, there's a Black Friday going on or the Thanksgiving going on. I'd like to provide 80% discount. I just come here and just change the value here, and I should be good. Make this live and I should be good. You can also see the revisions from here. The good thing is you can also taste the canvas from here. So click on the test canvas. Let's say I'd like to taste this particular offer with my user. And if you taste particular user again and again, you can start this user, basically that will bookmark, and you can click on test canvas. So you can see the response has been returned as 50 USD discount because my user had PPT value as 1, and then I have already purchased an order. So basically this particular condition is being matched here, and then you can also log the stuff, and then you can also see the full, this is the full JSON response which you'll be getting, and that can be used in your decision, the experience or experiment. And this is basically users data. So you can also look at the users data from here in case you need to make some decisions. So very powerful. And then when you save things, it will also ask me provide some comment. I'll not save right now. So, and then if I'm ready to test this, I can move it to a test, which again, as I mentioned, it will start the silent test, and then I can move to production and then delete as well. So let me move to test, and then production, and then so the other interesting thing here is you can also configure the audience. So let's say if you have two tests going on, you can configure 50-50%. So 50% will user will execute this decision model, 50% will execute this one. That can be also done. And then let's say the 1.4 is going live, 1.1 is getting deprecated. So you can configure this, make it 0, and then configure this, make it 100, and then 1.4 will be live and this will be offline. But I'll archive right now because I don't need it. Okay, so the decision model is done, but this is just the backend engine. Basically, you wrote a code, but you need to have some mechanism to execute this code or consume this code. And that's where the experiments or experiences are useful here. In this example, we are doing the experience. So I'll go back to the experience now. And then this experience is an interactive experience. and I'm using the full stack interactive experience. And again, what that means, if you don't know, that's fine. You can review the last session that I've talked about it. But here in this interactive experience, I have connected the decision model which we created. So just to give you an idea, this is decision model which we created just now. So when you come to this particular screen, you can select the decision model, basically connecting to the which business logic you would like to call and some other things. And then this is the UI from where you basically get the decision offers. This is the offers which are getting returned. As I mentioned, like you can connect to decision model, which will provide the offers. And you can also see that coming from here. So when you provide this particular, this is the offers coming, and then based on that, you can, this is the Apache free marker script and the format which you have to follow. And the good thing is there are some examples available here, like snippets. You can use that just to begin learning. And then once you have some more uh, grip on this, you should be okay. But there are some scripts available. You can just copy from here and then paste it. It will not let me do because this experience is live. And you can also preview the API and just look at the results by sending a request. It shows the result that I'll be getting this kind of a decision offer JSON data. And this is the response which I got from decision model. So now we have this particular decision model and experience ready. It's time to integrate in the website. You can also test from here. You can test everywhere, and that's the benefit of this system. And now to integrate this experience, interactive experience, you need to add this particular code snippet. So you copy paste this in your logic. Let's say might be on the page load, or let's say on button click. In this example, I'm using button click so you can see what I'm doing. But you can also have a page load or some kind of other event where you provide the required values and what those values mean. I've discussed those in the earlier session, so would request you to go through those. And then you call this particular, the important thing here is this friendly ID. This is the ID of this particular interactive experience, which will trigger the decision model behind the scenes. And then once you call it, you will get the JSON response here, and that can be used. So now let's go to the code. This is simple code, and this can be done with Sitecore as well. I'm just done with simple website. So here, what I have is I have this show discount banner button. On that button, I'm calling a JavaScript function, a simple function. And I have passed this required data with my friendly ID. And this friendly ID basically is the ID of this particular experience which I have. And you can look at that from here. And then I'm also passing custom PTP value for one of the scenario where I can override the PTP value just for testing. So I've done that. And then this is the flow data which I'm passing. And then when I make a call, I'm getting a response, just logging it for demo purpose. And then once the response is not null, just doing some simple JavaScript DOM manipulation to render that particular div. If you remember, we were getting the image attribute and some content, so rendering that using the div and image block. I think I see here standard JavaScript thing. That can be done better, but yeah, I'm not a very good JavaScript developer, so I just did whatever I wanted to execute this time. So now it's time to test this. So let's start with Rahul Dravid. And just to remind you, this is the scenario. Rahul Dravid has 0.4 propensity and they don't have any orders. They should be getting like 10 USD discount as per the business rules. So provide that. I'll log in. This is my dummy login. And then when I go to products page and I just click on check eligible discount, you can see that I got 10 USD discount on Apple Watch. And you can also see that my console.log basically showing the call. Now let me also try to change this to 1. override the value, and you can see that I got 30 USD discount on Apple Watch. Now let's change the user. The other user we have is my user, and then one is my propensity to purchase, and the orders I have are I already placed an order, so I should be getting higher discount. Login is done. We'll go back, and then you can see this. I'm getting a 50 USD discount on Apple Watch. So very powerful tool, and this all things can be done. And if I need to change this 50 USD to 70 USD or 5 USD, as a marketer, I got the power and I can change it. And as a developer, I got a power that I can taste it without doing all those hotfix deployments and doing all those crazy things. So that's the overall flow. I'll take a pause and see any question to this point of time, because I have been picking a lot of things and sharing a lot of things. But any questions you have so far with this demo? There are a lot of moving pieces here.
Yes, we have a couple of questions, but if you want to cover something else, then we can come back to questions later.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So this demo is almost yeah, this demo is completed, and now as we have time, the second demo I'd like to show is this Sitecore Play Submit demo. In this demo, let me start fresh. So in this demo, what we are trying to do is you have this particular hero banner, and you'd like to personalize this based on user's journey. So you can see that currently this guy's hero banner is there, the picture is here. But as I am going through the sessions, let's say I'm more of an outdoor person and I'm going through all the sessions related to outdoors or kind of an adventurous things. If I go back to home page, it will change the hero banner to a more of an adventurous thing. Now, let's say I decide to be more of a health freak, then I go back and look at the health sessions, and then it shows me this particular apple, because an apple a day keeps doctor away. So that's it. And then if I'm just looking at all the when is the event is serving lunch or when they are serving breakfast, that means that you are not interested in any session, you are just coming for food. So then we will switch back to the original uh, stuff what we have on the website. Hopefully that should change. Now we are back to basics. So how this is happening? I'll show you behind the scenes what is happening. So this is basically happening using experience, and we have this audience-based website homepage hero v2 configured here. In the code, it is doing nothing but just simple getting the decision model, and then whatever variables we have got from decision model, just replacing those values on the fly for the hero banner, and then some JavaScript code to replace the hero banner, and this API basically calling the decision model. Let's look at the decision model, because the decision model is very interesting. So in this decision model, what we are doing is we are getting the guest audience, basically which pages they are visiting, because we are passing some data on the page view that which sessions they are visiting. So the data is getting stored in the CDP system. And then based on that, we are making some decisions. So we have some values defined, like if someone's fitness and take, we have to show this, and if someone is healthy living, we have to show this particular hero banner. All these are configured, and if business would like to, let's say the business decide that I would like to have something else, they can configure it from here. So another example where, and obviously this kind of a common example where you want to provide some more personalized experience based on the user's persona and what they are interested on the website. So that's it on the demo part. There's only last theory we need to cover. So this decision model can get tempting and you can be more creative and flexible. And when something is flexible, like Sitecore, you can make or break things very easily. There are some rules you need to follow, the guidelines. Try to reduce the number of components on the decision canvas. The number of components on a decision canvas can result in suboptimal performance. And then try to have less input components unless you don't need it, remove it. Factor in the size of the guest profiles because they can also impact the performance. Reduce the number of data system or artificial intelligence components because obviously decision model has to make an API call behind the scenes and then get the data. So the thumb rule is try to have keep it to two. Obviously, system supports more than that, but the thumb rule is if you want to have optimal performance, keep it to two. Limit the number of programmable decisions on the canvas, three or four. And then if you have multiple programmables fetching the same user data, it might make sense to keep it one rather than keeping it multiple because that will improve the performance. Ensure that when you structure a decision model variant, there is only one ultimate decision. I think we discussed that already. Combine programmable decisions, we discussed this as well because each programmable decision block executes on its own and it takes time. And then limit loops in a decision because they can get complicated. And the moment.js library, which is a famous library for date time manipulation in JavaScript world, load it only if you need it, else don't try to load it. And then refactor decision tables to reduce size because you can go crazy with your business decision table roots, but obviously it can complicate as well. So yeah, these are the let's talk about it. And these are the some of the resources I have used. Some of the technical resources are there, or some of the resources are more of a non-technical understanding why the decision modeling is game changer for the marketing team. There's one thing I'd like to highlight and share with you all. The mind map, because when I was learning Sitecore CDP and Personalize, there are a lot of new learnings, keywords, which was hard for me to remember. So created this mind map, which you all can use. Basically, let's say if you would like to learn more about decision models, you can click on this small note where you can uh, just look at the small definition of it. And then you can also click on this small external link, which will open the decision model page in the Sitecore page on the Sitecore website. And if you'd like to more about decision tables, you can again click here. It explains it high level. By the same time, you can also click on this small external link within which it will land directly on the page. So this helped me to make my learning simple, but you can also use this and make your overall learning easy. The link is provided in the resources, and you can also search for Sitecore CDP Personalized Mind Map. You'll find it. So yeah, that's it from my side. It looks like there are some questions, so we can go through the questions.
Sure, Kiran, I can narrate that one to you. So the first question comes from Jaydeep, and the question is around can Sitecore personalization install locally? And is there a way we can get live data tested in local?
So when you say Sitecore Personalized can be installed locally, there are two parts. One is the integration part with the website or the Sitecore Personalized product. Which part you are asking, Jaydeep?
Sitecore personalized products.
Yeah, product cannot be installed on local, unfortunately. It has to be configured by your Sitecore account person or Sitecore account partner to on the Sitecore. And because they are all SaaS products, you cannot have anything local.
Okay.
Thanks, Kiran. So the next question is from Pradeep. Can we have multiple rule with same condition in decision table?
With same condition decision table. So what's can you explain that more? Because what will be like? So if the what is the changing then? The offer which you have to provide is changing. If the answer is yes, then yes, you can have it.
Okay, sure. So Pradeep, did Kiran answer your question, or do you want to add anything to the question?
All good. Thanks, Kiran.
Thanks for joining, Pradeep.
Yeah. So next question comes from Ravi. Can we configure decision model based on region? Different decision model for different regions.
Different decision model for different regions. So like that's the region you're talking for the end user region or like your business regions?
End user region. For example, Asia Pacific users can have some sort of offers, and
Yes,
US. Yeah.
you can have it 100% doable. Where you'll have programmable getting the one of the programmable getting the user's region, and then you can use that in your one of the input, and you can have this 100% possible.
Okay, sure. So last but not least, uh, Sitecore CDP work with only order, or it will work for any promotional things with any website.
Ask this question. So,
Yeah, sure. Sitecore
right?
CDP. Yeah,
No, I
Sitecore
just got the
CDP.
question like who asked this question because you also need that name right in the end.
Yeah, Jaideep. Jaideep.
Okay. So it can work with any promotional, and as I understand, all those promotional, you mean some data you have in your CDP system. Yeah, whatever data you have in your CDP system, or whatever data you have in your backend system and exposed via API, that can be used for decision model.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kiran.
Sure.
So Kiran, we don't have any more questions. So we'll need to select 2 4 questions at the lucky winner for today, and then we go to the drill of lucky winners from the participant list.
Sure. Do you want me to provide names?
Yeah.
Right.
So the first question was from, there are 2 questions from Jaideep. Then we have Pradeep who had a question regarding the multiple rule in the same condition for decision table,
Yeah.
and then from Ravi on the different decision model for different regions.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll go with Jaideep and Ravi.
Okay, sure. Okay, and now you can go to your screen and you should be able to see the participant list. So you cannot select me, that is SUG India. You cannot select yourself. You cannot select Vinod
Mhm.
since he's a co-founder, and then we cannot select Jaideep and Ravi because Ravi Mishra because he has already been selected in other category. Rest out of 12, 5 you cannot select, but 7 other options.
So I have to basically select a person in that case.
Two. Yeah, yeah, you can select any person. You can select 2 participants.
Oh,
You need to
okay.
select 2.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Now I understand. I'll go with Pawan and Pradeep.